Yo, yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 155 of Splinterlands 101. Joining us again, co-hosts of the show, finest gentlemen who have lived, and chairman of the DAO, Matt Clark.
Howdy, howdy.
Geotrix, now going by the Pouffet Poussey, which is your main account now.
Yes, it
So,
is. Yes. Thank you. Thank
and
you. How are we?
uh, hello.
Hello, hello.
And
Howdy doody.
joining us tonight, gathering the magic. If you've been watching him on YouTube, you'll know who he is. And for those who haven't, I strongly suggest you do. We'll get gathering to give us a little bit of a rundown on his channel, what he does. It's very, very informative, does a lot of market research on his cards, did a great analysis comparing Chaos Legion to Rebellion a while back. And we often see him dropping a bit of bank in his shows as well, picking up some cards. Welcome to the show, Gathering.
Hello, everyone. Glad to see you guys. Glad to be here.
Welcome.
Been watching your channel for quite a bit and excited to talk all things Splinterlands. We've got so many things to talk about and a lot of good things to look forward to in 2025.
Absolutely. And what is your full Hive username, in-game name for Hive?
It's just Jovak, I believe.
All right, I'll put a link to that in the blog. So if anyone, do you post anything on Hive, or are you strictly a YouTuber?
Pretty much just a YouTuber. I need to start learning how to use Hive. It sounds like it's something I should be utilizing, and I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the content that you do, if you drop it into and tag it on if you use ThreeSpeak for your videos and put in the right hashtags, you'll get some Splinterlands upvotes on your post, make a little bit of coin, buy a few extra cards. Well worth posting on Hive. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a ThreeSpeak account?
No.
Easy as to create. It's just basically you use your email address, put in your Hive username, you get a ThreeSpeak account. Uploading is super fast. It's pretty modern sort of. If you can use YouTube, you can use ThreeSpeak, and
Okay.
it's just good, having that app on the Hive, being part of the Hive economy as well, producing your content. I mean, I've been doing it on Hive originally on DTube, now on ThreeSpeak, long before I actually started posting to YouTube. So yeah, I recommend getting onto ThreeSpeak and posting on Hive as well. A lot of the community look for Hive posts as well.
Okay. Definitely we'll check that out.
All right. And on that, yeah, for the viewers, tell us a little bit. Firstly, how did you come into this space? I'm gathering there could be something in the username there, but now whether you came from a crypto background or a trading card game background, how did you arrive here? And eventually, why and how did you start posting?
Let's see. So it all started, well, the very first time that I saw Splinterlands, I didn't know what it was, and it was back in early 2019. My wife and I were having a house built, so we were living in an apartment in town, and I was just kind of messing around at home, didn't have a whole lot to do, and I was looking, and somehow I came across Splinterlands, and I'm like, this reminds me a lot of Magic the Gathering. Even the first sets, Alpha, Beta, I thought the next set would be called Untamed. It was unlimited, and the game looked interesting. The only reasons I didn't join, one, we were just getting ready to get a house, so I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on a new game. And two, I'm sorry, Nate, but some of the art looked kind of cartoonish. I didn't really care for some of the beta art, so that kind of turned me off a little bit. And I forgot about it. I didn't see it again for 2 years. And then I started getting into crypto, and I was actually watching a show called Crypto Banter. And I think the guy's name is Ran.
Rand, yeah.
Ran and Sheldon were playing Splinterlands. And I saw that, and I'm like, oh, I remember seeing that a couple years ago. I think I'll check it out. And this was either late June or early July of 21. So checked it out, signed up. My wife and I both signed up the same day, and I think it was the day before the SBS drop. So talk about great timing. And we saw the SBS drop and how many tokens people were getting and all that, got super excited. And got hooked and been in the game ever since.
You bring up an interesting point. So if people coming from a trading card background, the artwork is super important. That's like a big part of collectibles is good artwork. Do you think that's improved since the beta days?
Oh, definitely. And it's weird because looking at back at the cards now, I really like a lot of the cards. Like I think probably my favorite set is beta. Just looking at the cards, the way the cards are designed, the artwork and the borders and all that. Like the newer set, Rebellion, the art is fine, but what really bugs me is I love the gold foil cards, and it's so difficult to tell if the card is gold foil or not. You have to really look at the border. If you look at an alpha, there's no doubt. I mean, almost 90% of the card is gold. But the new set, it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, the artwork has definitely improved over the years.
I remember saying that to you, Bob, when you first tried to get me in. I was like, Bob, like I play Yu-Gi-Oh! The art, it's different. It wasn't bad. The art's not bad. It's just different, and I couldn't adjust from the two.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So when you bring that up, I thought the same thing.
And that we actually went into some detail a while back, specifically the borders, because we do some pack openings, we open chests and things like that, and get like especially you get a legendary card, and like, hang on, is it gold foil or is it regular? And it took us a while to actually figure it out. You got to literally got to look at the bottom corners of the card to work out whether it's a gold foil or not.
Just look at the number in the lower right. If it's a 2, it's gold foil, 2 or 3. So you don't even have to look at the border. Just look at the number because almost all of them are going to be 1. If it's a gold foil, it'll have a 2 or a 3. So
Yeah,
that's another way you can tell.
yeah. I mean, even as you level your cards up though too, it's like it's just not obvious that it's a gold foil like it is in the other
Maybe
pack
Glamour will
sets.
change that. I don't know. Maybe Glamour will change not only the artwork, maybe it could change the border as well.
Yeah. And we saw with the Halloween edition, how easy it is to change the artwork. It wouldn't be hard to put a little bit more glitter on the gold foil cards for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
so the
started.
art direction. Oh, sorry, I
No,
just
no,
wanted to just
go.
quickly say
Yeah.
I got used to the art direction of Splinterlands. I didn't understand it at first. I was like, because it was so different. I was like, wait, what? Like, yeah. For now, I get it, and it's improving, as you guys were saying.
So you got into the game, you got in with the SPS airdrop, that got you excited. You started building up a deck. What made you start producing content on YouTube? And were you utilizing YouTube for something else before Splinterlands?
Let's see. So some of the first content creators that I watched a lot of Bulldog. I think he was probably one of the main YouTubers that I saw, Dwayne Aftersound. And I saw how passionate they were about the game, and I'm like, okay, I'm really not familiar with how to do content or what to do, but I love the game. I want to talk about it. I want to be a part of the community because I think the number one thing that I really like about this game is the community. I mean, games come and go, but if you get a really, really good community, I think 99% chance of success because to me, community is everything. And I've never met in all the games that I played online, a better community than Splinterlands. So if there's someone new that's out there and they're kind of wondering about the game, there's tons of people out there that are going to help you either in your guild or on Discord. So it may be a little bit of a learning curve, but definitely this is the place to be if you want to play a trading card game online.
Yeah. And the community aspect, Matt's touched on this a few times in the past. Whereas now, if you're a developer or you've got something, you're working in the Web3 space, you're looking for an audience, by coming to the Hive ecosystem and plugging into Discord along with that, you've got, as a member of Hive, as having a Hive account, anything that gets added to the Hive blockchain, you've got an immediate marketplace, an immediate community to build your app or your DApp with. And Splinterlands in the early day for aggro with his PAL, Peace, Abundance, Liberty server, like that just got so much attention through Discord. Yeah, it's great that you've got such a diverse community too. I mean, we hang out, even though I'm in Mexico now, I still hang out in Hive, Australia. We've got an incredible community just in that one server on Discord. We've got some very, very aware, switched on, bright people, not just in Splinterlands, but across a broad section of topics and so forth. And as part of the community, you can find your sub-communities within that community as well. I go to a few different servers and I recognize names from Splinterlands. It really is a great environment. Yeah. I just going to jump quickly over to your channel here and maybe just sort of give people a bit of a background, because you have different themes as well with your videos. Maybe just run through what's on the screen here and tell people what to expect in these videos.
Well, what I've been doing a lot lately are just market watch videos. So I rotate week to week. So one week it will be the land market watch. So I'll go through all the different plot prices, token prices, totems, how those are doing, time crystals, just everything to do with land, just kind of track month to month, like how the land market is doing. Are prices going up or down? Are there certain regions where, people are selling a lot? Other regions, it's hard to find plots, that kind of thing. And then the next week, I'll do the card market watch, where I'll go through the entire market, go through all the assets, how prices have changed over the last week. If there's any deals, I think, that are on the market, I'll let the viewers know. I'll say, hey, I think this is really underpriced. I think this is something, you guys may want to check out before it's gone, because our market is so thin liquidity-wise that I've had times where I'll write down the data for the market watch, and when I go to upload it, like an hour or two later, it's already changed. So I try to get it out, as quickly as I can. It does take a couple hours to put together, but like I said, I'm a numbers guy, so I love going through the numbers, and I want to have a kind of a history when else doing this. So, if we get a big bull run in 2025, I want people to be able to look somewhere and say, okay, well, what were prices back in 2024 or 2023? How much was that kitty back in the day? It's 300 a BCX. Was it ever that high before? That kind of thing. So, like I said, I really want to have a visual kind of record of where the market has been for land and for cards.
All right. Matt, you've always got something to say. Any questions there for gathering?
No, I think that's really. I'm thinking you're thinking fourth dimensionally, Marty. It's all about the contrast, isn't it? So somebody who arrives and this is just the prices of things, to have that capacity to look back 12, 18 months ago and say, wow, they were really actually quite cheap. That suggests that the cards that are cheap now will, given a year or two, likely increase as well, because scarcity makes them rare and valuable. So no, that's a great perspective to have. I'll occasionally look at peak monsters and the pricing history over time. But you're right about it being thin. I picked up a heap of Vampiric Blossoms when Ulfka was announced, because it's like the perfect counter. It's immunity at max level, can't be poisoned, and also does double damage to cards that can't attack, right? That don't have an attack, which is Ulfka. So I sort of thought, well, I'll take the opposite side of that. While all the attention's on Ulfka, I'll go and grab a heap of these Vampiric Blossoms while they're nice and cheap, and they are cheap. They've been undervalued, I think. And I bought quite a few, but it wasn't long before I was really starting to push the price up. So I've sort of stepped back for a while now and just letting the price drop again, and then I'll go back in and likely do that again, and again push hard on them. But it really is amazing when you stand back a bit how thin it is and how readily you can really push up the price on something. I had Christmas Day, I had to work, so I had my laptop at my brother-in-law's place, and my nephew was sitting on my knee. It was pretty quiet. I wasn't having to deal with customers, so I was playing a bit of Splinterlands, and my nephew I think he's 6. Anyways, sat on my knee and helping me play, and I said, "Oh, do you want to open a Chaos Legion pack for me?" I think we opened 5. And he opened a gold foil back Jira for me. So,
oh, wow,
Wade, thanks, buddy. That's great. We looked up the price on the market; it's $27, and he was pretty blown away that he'd helped out Uncle Matt like that. So good on him. Yeah. So, but again, it's about the. We looked up my total account value, and it's 130 something thousand US. But so much of that is academic, right? Because if I start selling flash golems, they're not worth a dollar per BCX anymore, right? It's not going to take long before the price drops and the bottom. And so, on the one hand, I could give myself $1 million on paper by just pushing up the price just a little bit, and then all the ones I hold then become, theoretically more valuable. But it's just paper gains, right? There's not there's not anything really there. But I think as the market matures and we have more and more demand, genuine demand from multiple people, keeping that floor raising, that's when you get the kind of thing that you can actually sell some into. You can sell a substantial amount and still have and not push the price down. And we've talked about this before about how the higher prices go, the more money somebody can move in without moving the price. Because at the moment, how do you push $10 million into Splinterlands without pushing up prices on yourself and with any sort of hope that you can pull that 10 million back out again without moving the price? It's the volume just isn't there, right?
Well, they keep talking about how they want to get thousands of new players in the game. Like all of a sudden 5,000 appear on a certain day. And I'm like, no, they come in one at a time. And I'm looking at the market and I'm like, if you had 10 Azrakans come into the game, the market is gone. Probably not even 10, 5. I mean, you could come in with a few $1,000s and just wipe out Modern that's on the marketplace right now and probably not even get max level cards of most of them. So I that's one of the things I try to preach on my shows is just how thin the market is, how low prices are compared to where I believe they will be starting in April when the new Conclave Arcana comes out. It's like, guys, if you think these are expensive now and Rebellion is now out of print, you can only get the packs on the secondary market. Not a lot are being opened. Actually, at the rate they're being opened, they're going to be completely gone in under a year. So, like I said, I am super excited for 2025. I think people are going to be blown away by going on the market and looking at Rebellion and seeing huge gaps. Like, wait a minute, I thought there was 29 commons in Rebellion. Why is it showing 9? Where's the other 20? Oh, I'm looking at legendaries. There's 3. That's it of this one card. I think that's what we're going to see next year. So, strap in, kids. It's going to be a fun ride.
Absolutely, and it feeds on itself too. So, as people sort of there's a particular Chaos Legion card they want and they can't get it anymore, or it's starting to look a bit pricey, then they move to packs. If the prices of the packs jump up too much, then they say, well, let's look at land then. What's going to pop off next. But as those opportunities close, because we're out of Rebellion packs, for example, then where does that money go? Well, now it's going into land. Now it's going into secondary market packs, or now it's going into whatever else, totems, validator licenses, which is another interesting piece. That's January, so that's so close, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's one thing I don't have. I don't have a validator node, so never got too much into that. So I feel bad for the people that bought tons of them. They, just like land, it kind of got pushed on the back burner. I'm glad that they are getting something for the validator nodes, but yeah, it's going to be exciting when that finally comes out. And that's another thing that's kind of lining up. Another thing in 2025 going to get done. Okay, next phase of land should be done. Next new modern set is going to be done. Validators coming out. Glamour might be around the corner. So, it's going to be a jam-packed first half of the year, I believe.
Yeah. I was just taking a quick look. I'll just share my screen here for a sec. So the Chaos Legion packs, I've got 101 at the moment. I was thinking of, with the Rebellion going out, are people going to start farming on what's left on the Chaos Legion?
Yeah, the floor on that's quickly getting to 50 cents. So that's one of the things I use to fund my $10 account is I'll take, a little bit of money, buy some Chaos Legion packs, some in game, just a few percentage higher, and then just rinse and repeat. And the packs had been as low as under 30 cents, a month and a half ago. But now if you look at how many accounts are actually selling, there's like 3 or 4 annoying bots that are undercutting each other and keeping the price down. But other than that, very quickly we can hit to 50, 60 cents a pack on Chaos Legion.
Yeah. And then jump over to Rebellion. It's quite a difference in price there.
My prediction is they will be $5 plus by February next year. Rebellion. It just people are going to need it. They're going to realize they're missing out. They're not going to be able to play in Modern without Rebellion. You're not going to be able to just skip it and do Conclave Arcana and reward cards. So I think that that FOMO is going to kick in. People always wait till the last minute. I can understand that. So once they see Conclave Arcana, and I think it's going to be a good set, but I still think if you want to be competitive, especially Diamond and Champ, you've got to have a well-rounded deck and have all the cards that you can get.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Chaos Legion was our boozy night out on the town, and then Rebellion was sort of the hangover. Mm-hmm. Because so many people just stacked heaps of Chaos Legion packs. And I talked a couple of no-coiners into buying Chaos Legion, saying, hey, it's a pretty safe bet, right? Every time a pack comes out, buy it, wait 3 or 4 years, and then sell into a hungry market, which is a great plan if not 10,000 other people have the same plan and move large sums of money in and buy up a whole lot of the packs simply for resale. So I think there was so much of that Rebellion was sort of went the opposite direction, and we got used to there being an absolute massive amount of cards available on the market. And this feast or famine, we sort of started with the feast and then Rebellion's the famine. And you're right. There are people who say, well, okay, the packs are sold out. If I need a card, I'll just buy it off the market. But if you and 1,000 other guys have the same idea, where are the cards coming from?
Exactly. And just
how many people bought Rebellion to resell it later on, and how many people only bought Rebellion because they wanted the cards themselves?
Yeah. Well, just me coming from a Magic the Gathering background, this game reminds me so much of the early days where it was a small game. It had a very loyal following, and it took a while, and then it just exploded. To me, Chaos Legion, I compare to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Magic that much, Revised. Revised was the first set in Magic. It came out like 2 years after Magic launched, and they overprinted it massively. They realized they had a hit. They put it in Barnes & Noble. They put it in Walmart's. Everywhere you looked, whether it was a gaming store or not, you had Revised. And everyone said, oh, it's never going to be worth anything. It's overprinted. There's no good cards in it. Now, it took 10 or 15 years, but eventually those packs are now hundreds of dollars. And I look at the same thing with Chaos Legion. I don't think Chaos Legion is ever going to be hundreds of dollars, but I can easily see it if we get massive adoption being $5 or more a pack, just because, people are going to need packs. And, they're going to want to play in different formats. 2-3 years down the line, we're not just going to have Modern and Wild. We're going to have probably 2 or 3 different other formats where maybe there's an Alpha Beta Untamed format. There's a Chaos Legion Rift Watchers format. You're going to have, different groupings of set editions where people can play and, earn SPS. So I don't think just because Chaos Legion is out of Modern that it's, basically a dead set. So take advantage of it now. If you can buy packs under 50 cents and can afford it, there's no harm in just grabbing some packs and just sitting them in your account and just waiting a couple of years. And if nothing else, if you have friends or new players that come in and you want to just send them a hello gift, what better gift than, a new player comes in and they check and it's like, hey, I just got 5 free packs. Wow, that is really cool. That is really nice. So just a small gift like that can make a big influence on a new player, new people coming in.
Yeah. And if you have a look at the list here, there's not a lot of cards between 14 Hive and 20 Hive with these cards at the moment. And Hive bouncing around the 30-cent mark. What's that, $3.50-ish for a pack at the moment. Yeah. But I think with my budget at the moment, I'm still eyeing off, and I'm seriously considering picking up another 100 Chaos Legion packs to add to my collection, because it's this price. I mean, and like Matt said, with each new edition comes out, the other one goes up and up and up in value, and we look at the difference. There's like 12x difference between Chaos Legion and Rebellion. that these Chaos Legion packs, they can't stay this price forever.
No, and they won't. But the thing is, people become used to what's current, and they associate that as being the norm. And they think it's always going to be that way. So like when Chaos Packs are under 50 cents, it's like, oh, they'll always be under 50 cents because they have for X amount of months. And then all of a sudden they're not. And then everyone's shocked. And then everyone's like, oh, wait, now they're $1. Oh, they're $1.25. And that becomes the new norm. So yeah, I think we'll have a new norm on the not too distant future on a lot of Splinterlands assets across the board.
Yeah.
Yep, even just the thrill of opening something, right? So Rebellion's not around. What really do you have to open? You can open reward chests, I guess. But if you want that rush, like I saw with my nephew, he's like, "Oh, can we open more packs, please, Uncle Matt?" Like it's that I want the dopamine hit of the
Yep,
gimme.
yep.
You got any more of that? And so it's okay. Rebellion's gone. You want to hit? Well, it's only 30 cents to just buy a Chaos Legion pack, and it's only $30 to you buy a whole heap, and then it doesn't take many people having that same idea. And as if the card market is thin, then that pushes up the price of everything. So yeah, totally agree. 2025 going to be insane. I love it.
So have you guys got Rebellion? I want a t-shirt. Nate, if you're listening to this, please come out with a Splinterlands t-shirt that just says "Got Rebellion" and the little Splinterlands logo. I would definitely buy one.
I really didn't move on Rebellion, mostly because of what Bob alluded to a second ago. I was selling Untamed packs for $12, $15 to buy Chaos Legion at 60, 70 cents for a very long time because I got to fill land.
Yep.
I have two regions that I barely scratched the surface of. And I've got to think in terms of how can I get the most production points for my dollar. And Rebellion didn't offer that, right? Rebellion's not.
No.
Also, I play in Wild anyway, so I've got my go-tos that I'm a dinosaur. I'll just keep playing those as long as I can, but until they're worn out. So that for me is just stack Chaos Legion. It's been my goal from the start.
Yeah, I always tell people if you're into land and want a decent amount of production points, my favorite are the gold foil epics, just for the production points you get for the cost. I mean, they've been consistently around $3.50, and you get over 600 points. The nice thing I like about them is even a single BCX, 600 production points, and it only costs you 1,000 DEC. So I know a lot of people that the DEC is the big bottleneck. It's like, yeah, I can go in and I can get the cards, but man, I just don't have the DEC. Well, for 1,000 DEC, you can get 600 points. So that's a good place to start. And with Chaos being so affordable, you can buy, a bunch of packs and maybe you'll pull one or two.
That's
Today
why
you can.
the CL set is a blessing in disguise. The overprintness and the over-opening of it has just made it so readily available that if someone wants to fill up on land and other things, they can now. And like the more who switch onto that, well, it's just going to dry up eventually. I don't know when, but it will. It will.
Just, has everyone checked the gold? Because I know once people first caught on, the gold foil epics and Chaos Legion really spiked. Has everyone checked out those recently?
I think they're still basically in the $3 to $4 range for most of them. Usually the lower end ones are the neutrals because people don't want neutrals. They want the specific splinter to get that 10% bonus. But
yeah.
But every once in a while, there'll be one that's bought out, and then there's only one for sale, and it's like $15. It's like, what? Oh, okay, because there's only one.
Yeah, because those Jin Renovas, they like really spiked when that land release came out, and people could start putting cards on land. Yeah.
And if the new format or mode where you got to keep using cards, right? You burn through cards, they die, and the more you have, the better.
Survival.
Well, yeah, well, no one's really looking at Rebellion for that, right? Like, it's only CL that allows that you can buy so many more copies of a particular card to service that mode. So I think CL would be the most important there.
I'm still surprised people have not bought out all the summoners from Chaos Legion and Untamed that are under 25 cents. It's like there's so many people talking about survival mode.
Do we have a launch
You're going
date
to
for
need
that
tons
yet?
of summoners, whether you combine them or not. I don't know if the strategy is going to be maybe do lower level, level 2 or 3, and then I'll see how I do, or if they're going to try to max out them. But why are there still summoners that cheap? I don't get it. I might have to do another buyout video soon.
And like, Gio, how much were we paying for Thaddeus and Tarsa and
Oh, don't
Obsidian?
remind me, Bob. I don't want to know, but no, I don't feel too bad about it now. So that's the past. We'll just keep it in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just nah. I remember $9 Thaddeus's and
Yeah, I was so excited when I
day
maxed
one.
Thaddeus, and it was just like a
Yeah,
couple
for
of
like-
cards a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Kelly being what, $3 or $4 a BCX, and that was for the regular foil.
Yeah.
I remember
I
seeing a
remember
gold foil for
Chaos
20
Legion.
and thinking it was cheap.
Yeah, no, I remember day one drop like $10 for like like wow.
Yeah, it was like open a pack, get a Chaos Legion summon it, and sell it straight away. It was, and it was they were selling fast. You didn't have to leave it on the market. Yeah, in the break, when we brought up the subject of conspiracy theories and discovered that Magic's on the same page as us. We all love a good conspiracy, but they're not conspiracy theories. Gathering, what are they?
Spoiler alerts.
Spoiler alerts. Yeah, absolutely.
Sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads. Dr. Evil.
Yeah, there's a bit of to and fro goes on here, right? A little bit of cheekiness. If you said, is Edward Snowden a conspiracy theorist? People would say, no, he's a whistleblower. See, when a conspiracy theorist has proof, they get called a whistleblower.
And then they go to jail.
That way the smooth brains can keep saying, well, conspiracy theorists have no proof. It's because, as soon as they have proof, as soon as they can say, yes, definitely, then you just redefine them as whistleblowers, and then you don't have to ever face the fact that sometimes conspiracy theorists have proof. It's just very careful, subtle shift in wording that's, car drives into crowd. That sort of just a subtle shift in wording that just hits the synapses a little bit different. So, our conspiracy theorists never have any proof. Just think, okay, well, whistleblowers have proof. Why don't you call them conspiracy theorists? But maybe that's a conspiracy theory about conspiracy theories.
Did anything, speaking of driving into crowds, anything ever happen, anything more ever come out of it, that Commodore and Melbourne? It went supposedly plowing through some people
Don't know about that one, but the worst one just happened. Christmas market in Germany.
Do tell.
Well, what was it? 2 days? Matt, do you know this one?
I saw. I didn't follow it closely, but some guy. It seems like it's some confusion over his what he wanted to achieve. But he plowed into a crowd. I think he killed like 11 and injured another 60. Like, it's big, densely packed, and he's some immigrant from somewhere. Just drove a car really, like, see the surveillance footage. It's just really fast, straight into a crowd.
And it keeps going. It's just like bowling pins,
And there's footage of the German cops at the same market only a couple of hours earlier, patting down this nice old lady and going through her purse to make sure, and they find a Swiss Army knife, the blade this long, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to have to confiscate that off you because you can't have that here out in public, which bladed." And then this guy's just roaring past in a car, bowling people over. It's just like the priorities could not be more ridiculously wrong.
Yeah.
Shaking down an old lady for a pocket knife, and then
allowing extremists to come in.
Exactly.
And giving them residency and all of that. It's like, nah, reclaim your country. Reclaim your country's Europe. This can't go on. It's a failure. It's whatever's happened. It's failed.
Well, we're talking about the same country that
was
seizing Bitcoin when Argentina was buying it. So,
this is not cool.
Yeah. My favourite rabbit hole at the moment, gathering, been delving into for a few years now, is the. I don't know if you've been looking into Tartaria at all.
No.
I'll send you a couple of links.
Okay.
I'll drop into the channel after. Essentially, like a stolen history of the global unified civilization, possibly only 300-400 years ago, that's just been erased from history.
His story? Yeah.
His story, yeah. Speaking of, I told you one of my students, her grandfather was from Tata, this Russian girl. I had another guy from Georgia,
Georgia.
Europe, not Georgia, America.
Yes.
And he was talking about how in his area, a lot of people still speak Tata, the language, and they before they were invaded by Russia. So, like, it's not a big secret over there, but yet it is here. And on another episode, we were talking about one of my students from Saudi Arabia. She was before they had the annual pilgrimage, the Hajj in Saudi. She was saying how hot it had been, but she says luckily the government are going to make it rain to make it cooler for the pilgrimage. And I says, what? And it's no big deal. It's well known that the government do cloud seeding over there to make it rain for, like, it's not a conspiracy. Like, it's everyone knows, and it's out in the open.
I didn't know they had HARP in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a country too that doesn't pay taxes. I was quite surprised. They have no income tax or anything like that. They introduced a temporary 15% goods and services tax after the pandemic to cover the costs of all the lockdowns and stuff. But it has an end date of 2030. But prior to that, they pay no tax at all over there. One of the richest. No, they don't pay taxes. And here we are,
Trump's
giving away.
Get that passed in the U.S. That's what I'm really hoping, that he gets rid of the IRS and Musk and who else? Vivek. They can clean up some of the waste in the government. I think I saw a show not too long ago, and they were talking about that, and they said it wouldn't be extremely difficult to basically get rid of the government debt if you just get rid of the waste, get rid of the income tax. I think they said put like a 25% tariff on all everything imported into the U.S. So it is pretty feasible, but we'll see what Trump can get done.
All you got to do is get rid of the Federal Reserve. That's it. Boom.
Yeah, but
just throwing around
want to stay alive, don't you?
Yeah, but then you get a democracy bomb.
Isn't it like 16 trillion is the national debt, and they're saying Elon reckons he can trim 2 trillion a year. So that's only 8 years, and then you're back in black. So that actually seems kind of reasonable, right? I mean, as long as the same amount of income is coming in, if you can spend 2 trillion less, then I don't know. It just seems like it seems doable.
Yeah, I think our debt is actually like 35 or 36 trillion, but they talked about the deficit that we have per year is like 3 or 4 trillion per year, and they said that would not be that hard to get back to zero. Just mainly by cutting government waste. So if you can cut the waste, get a little bit of income from tariffs. A lot of people don't know the entire U.S. government used to be funded with tariffs. There was no income tax. Back in the late 1700s and all the 1800s, there was no Federal Reserve, there was no income tax. Government, granted, was much, much smaller, but to me, that's the way it should be anyway. So it wouldn't take that much money to basically, fund the entire government when they're just basically taking care of national defense and, some local things. So we'll see. I have great hope, hopefully, for the next 4 years that things will start turning around.
But I mean, it's the simplicity of it that no one will ever talk about in that position of power. Just get rid of Federal Reserve, throw all the green spoons into jail, expose it for the scam that it is, cancel all debt all over the world that's due because of the Federal Reserve. That's all we need. Who's going to stand up and do it? Yeah.
Gold, silver, and Bitcoin.
Gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Yeah. Yeah, but Tartaria, man, it's the greatest rabbit hole ever. And a couple of people I follow. Shout outs to John Levi. He has one of the most amazing channels on YouTube when it comes to Tartaria. But I'll drop you some links in for that, for sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely. It sounds really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine a global, unified civilization with, how the main theme behind it is like architecture. You see the exact same buildings all over the world. In Europe, they have the timeline in their history. So over 2,000. These were built thousands of years ago, and they're in ruins because they're old. But you see the exact same buildings in the United States, other countries around the world, but you don't have the thousands of years timeline. But they're exactly the same buildings, and quite often, and I actually watched one today on Portland, Oregon. For those interested, just as a foot in the door, I'll drop the link to this one, Portland, Oregon. This guy's collection has been digitized. That he took photos back in 1939, and it was just this huge, massive city, completely deserted, hardly anyone around, people in horse and carts, and they demolished the whole city to build on top of that. So, because it didn't fit into the timeline. All these multi-story, massive, with the intricate, delicate artistry work on the buildings, the gargoyles, the detail. But I'll drop the link to that.
Even something as basic as pyramids. They found pyramids, all around the world. They found, so many, like you said, structures that are the exact same architecture all around the world. It's like, what are the odds that everyone came up with the same ideas for infrastructure the exact same way? It's like, no, unless there was some sort of a, global society.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many mountains that are, just buried huge buildings. And how much stuff is coming to the surface literally nowadays of underground buildings, underground tunnels. I've seen some amazing videos on like the subway system throughout the United States, that these tunnel networks that connect cities that are being discovered.
I think people would be blown away, especially in the United States, if they knew the truth of what's really going on in the world. Just all the corruption, all the just demonic things going on, and just, such a huge rabbit hole. I don't even know where to start, but I think a lot of the truth is going to start coming out now, small drips here and there. I think if it was all released at once, people would just not accept it. They would just be blown away by just, the atrocity of some of it. But like I said, I think better times are ahead. I think we've turned a corner, not just the United States, but I think it's the world. I think now that the scandemic is behind us, I think people learned a lot from that, learned a lot about how valuable freedom really is, and, how, sometimes you have to fight for what you believe in. You've got to be brave and stand up and go against the grain, and maybe you're condemned now, but you'll be seen as right in the future. So, you got to stay true to what you believe in and true to your values.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
totally agree. And I think one of the reasons that I love the decentralization as a piece, just as a concept, is that it doesn't matter who's right about who's running the world. Right? We all know that there's people or lizards or something that runs the world that don't care about us and you almost take joy in humiliating and us and making us suffer.
Don't talk about Biden like that.
But rather than I feel like we're all marionettes, and trying to ascertain who's up in the shadows pulling on our strings. I think if we can just focus on cutting the strings, it doesn't matter anymore. It becomes academic, right? So I think so much of the conspiracy stuff is focused on the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds and like trying to identify, trying to find the culprit and the bad guy. I think the focus should be right here on my shoulders, my wrists, my ankles. Cut those strings, right? It's something that I can do. I don't need to ID the guy, right? Either way, I just need to be free. I don't need to share the scissors around, right? And that's the way I sort of see something like Bitcoin originally, and then games like Splinterlands now. It's a way for people to free themselves from all of that, and then 50, 60 years from now, we'll all sit down and say, oh, who was the puppet master at the time, back when there were strings on us? Or when it's academic, then I'm sure it'll be easy to discern. But for now, it's like, let's not focus on that. Let's just cut the strings, right?
Yeah. Well, how sometimes you look in the past, I know we do it in the United States, where you look at like 30, 40 years ago, what the trends were, what the fashion was, what the culture was like. And it's like, oh, you guys were so weird back then. I think people are going to say that about this time, 30, 40 years from now, and be like, wow, you guys were so messed up. You were so close to the brink. You almost went over the edge. luckily you guys pulled yourself out of it at the last moment and look where we are now. Because I think the world can be just fantastic once we get rid of a lot of the corruption, a lot of the technology that I believe that is out there, if it can come to light, can help in so many different ways as far as health, healing, energy, just everything. It's like we've been so suppressed for so long, and I think those days are coming to an end. And I hope I live to see the future that I think we're all in store for.
Yeah, just in Melbourne, Australia, we got some. It was pretty tyrannical, and it's amazing how quick people can forget things. But it, as bad as it was, it really did wake up a lot of people, and especially on the international side, people are going, "What? This is Australia? I thought Australia was like a democracy, you know." I don't know if did you see the clip of the 70-year-old lady that was pushed down and pepper sprayed by the police?
No, I heard about that though. Yeah, I did hear about that.
Quickly, I'll pop that on just for a few seconds, so the world can see exactly what it was like in Melbourne during the pandemic, scamdemic.
VicPol can't recruit now, though. They can't get bums in seats. No one wants it.
Yeah. So here's a little excerpt of this. Now watch this. So you see the police, they push her down to the ground, pepper spray in her face, another one comes up, pepper sprays in the face. This is a 70-year-old woman. 70-year-old woman, yeah. And that was just like a small part. Police opened fire on peaceful protesters, like women, children, pensioners who are peacefully protesting the lockdowns, and the police opened fire with rubber bullets and tear gas. Like, that's never happened in the history of Australia. It was
at a war memorial.
At a war memorial, yeah.
Yeah,
and also in the streets of Melbourne as well.
Yeah.
In this actual CBD downtown. So I've got a good clip of that too. If you guys talk for a sec, I'll load that one up.
And people don't know about, rubber bullets. They think, oh, well, that's okay. They're just rubber bullets. They just sting for a bit. But we're not talking paintballs, right?
No.
These are big, fat, heavy rubber slugs. They're called less lethal, not non-lethal, right? And these are just fired indiscriminately into a crowd of people. You see pictures of it. And guys have got big purple welts like this. Really, really, there's the press is reporting that these are unruly lunatics, who aren't willing to stay inside like the good little people. These are unruly lunatics. But if you actually see the crowd, it's mostly like tradies that just want to get back to work. And like you said, Bob, retirees. There was no. I don't even. It's still too fresh.
Right-wing extremist.
Yeah. People who just want to be left alone to get on with their lives.
Yeah. Here's a quick excerpt of the streets of Melbourne.
The scary thing is, I wonder what they have planned next, because the deep state or whatever you want to call them, they're not going to go quietly. I'm curious now. I don't know if you guys have followed it. Over, I think it's in New Jersey, off the coast. There's like fleets of drones that have been appearing over the last couple of months where people are filming them. They're like, okay, this is some sort of a drone, but it's like the size of a car. It's not like your typical small drone, and just tons of them in different shapes, different sizes. And people are trying to figure out, okay, what exactly is going on. Some of them are flying over military bases, and it's like, okay, it's not the military. I don't know. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I don't think you can fly over military bases without permission, without being shot down. I wouldn't have thought, unless you've got some sort of extra tech unless you've got either permission or you've got some extra tech that somehow prevents that, or I don't know. You would think that the US taxpayer should be saying, well, for all the money we spend on defense, we should be able to just ring up the DOD and say, hey, what are these drones flying over, and get an accurate answer. Otherwise, can we stop paying taxes, please? Because either you're complicit in something or you're completely useless.
Yeah, that's the thing about it too. It's like you would say, okay, well, it has to be the military, otherwise, the military would shoot them down. But they've asked the military, and they're like, nope, we have no idea what they are, but they pose no threat. Now, wait a minute. If you don't know what they are, how can you say they pose no threat? These things are flying around observing us or, whatever else. So I don't know. But yeah, it
Yeah,
seems like that's the next thing that they're setting up, some sort of invasion. Oh, what was
yeah,
it? I think I heard someone say they're possibly from a mothership in Iran. So Iran is trying to. So it's like, okay, so now are we going to have justification to start a war with Iran?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was
I
already in the works, right?
yeah.
That's literally take out and destabilize the Middle East from like 20, 30 years ago. It was even like recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of the whole 9/11 plan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right after 9/11, they were quite open about it. They showed you
Mhm.
these are the 7 countries we're going to destabilize in the Middle East, and Syria was like towards the end, and now look at
Yeah.
Syria. Yeah.
Well, most people don't even know what the World Trade Center building was. Do you know what was in the building? Or what the
The investigation of all that money that went missing, the trillions of dollars that went missing from the Fed at the time when they were having a hearing in Congress.
Yep, that was in Building 7. That was next to the Twin Towers. But do you know what was actually in the Twin Towers? Or was in the basement, I should say, of the Twin Towers?
Do tell.
It was the largest bank in the world. They had $100 billion in bearer bonds, $100 billion in gold bullion, and $100 billion in diamonds in the basement of the World Trade Center. So when you
Which
saw the building collapse and all that twisted metal, and you saw all those trucks going out with all the debris, what do you think was in the bottom of those trucks? It was the world's largest bank robbery.
wow.
Heist. Damn.
hmm And like you said, the day before, Rumsfeld came on TV and said, "Yeah, we're missing $2 trillion in the government. We have no idea where that money went." And all the records for that were in Building 7 that got hit the next day. So, it's right there if people do the research to find out.
There's another little snippet that I've managed to keep. I actually use a YouTube downloader to grab onto it. It's Larry Silverstein on PBS on the day after. He obviously got shaken up and told him to pull his head in because he retracted it later. But they were talking about Building 7 because it was just a few small fires. No plane hit that building, but it collapsed in perfect controlled demolition symmetry. And he said on the PBS interview, he says, "Oh, look, there'd been so much suffering and whatever that day that we just decided to pull the building."
Yep, we just told them to pull it.
Yep. How do you
Because
do that?
notice that building fell from the top or from the bottom up, like the foundation collapsed. But both of the Twin Towers, for the first time in history, a building fell through itself. The bottom of the building was not hit. They were hit towards the top of the building. So what should have happened was the top of the building collapsed where the impact was, and the rest of the building should have been fine.
Just gone.
Yep. So how did the buildings from like floors 80 down go straight down into the ground?
Boom, boom.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
watch it in slow motion.
Anybody
you
in
see-
construction knows that if you want to take out a building, you have to take out the base because you can't
foundation.
demolish it. Yeah, you have to take out the foundation. You can't destroy it top down. So how did it happen then?
And first responder firefighters on the scene talking about pools of lava flowing in the basement.
Well, you notice how everybody on the
Thermite.
streets, and they even showed it on the news, how everyone was just covered in dust. There was just dust for blocks and blocks. You could see the dust cloud, that went down the streets. The buildings were vaporized, basically.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But they managed to find those passports fully intact.
yeah, thankfully, the trees were not burned and the paper passports survived.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so I'm guessing you're onto all those horrific bushfires that destroyed all of the towns, but the trees and the electrical poles are still standing.
Yeah,
Fully
like that
anything
mess in
to-
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, like I said, there's just so much going on behind the scenes, just not just corruption like that, but I think a lot of things on a more spiritual side, if you want to say aliens or whatever, go the more spiritual route. I think there's a lot that's happening right now that if people knew the truth of that, they would, they wouldn't believe it. But
Yeah. My view on aliens and the likes are all interdimensional. You know, we have all these ludicrous stories of billions and billions of miles through space and blah, blah, blah. Makes a lot more sense to just change the frequency a tiny little bit and you've got a completely different realm. Everything is sound, everything's frequency, we know that.
Yep.
I think these entities come interdimensionally, just not across the void of fictitious space. But shall we got just over 10 minutes left. Shall we finish off the show with a bit of battling? It's a bit of a tradition on 101.
Well said, Bob. I like how you wrapped that up.
Yeah.
Support.
Do you when you go to the swimming pool, do you walk in the shallow end and slowly walk up to your neck, or do you dive in the deep end?
Oh, I go to the shallow end first because I can't
Okay.
swim. So
All
if I
right, well-
jumped in the deep end, that would be the end. No more content.
All right. So we'll start you off in the shallow end. I'll send you a challenge.
Okay.
And then we'll work our way up through Matt and Geo. All right.
Sounds good.
And it's the Jovac account.
Yep, that's my main.
Okay. So what level are you comfortable playing at in this account?
Probably either silver or gold. Like I said, I don't have max cards, but
Yeah. So where
Pretty
are you
strong
most comfortable, silver or gold?
probably silver.
Silver? With
Yeah.
or without gladiators?
You can go with.
Okay.
Not that I would ever use them, but
You would never use Cora in a obnoxious gas where Earth is an option.
I'm really wondering if they're going to allow gladiators in the new modern. Now that the gladiator summoners are going to be gone, I think the team might phase them out.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here, so no peeking. I'll share the screen so the viewers at home can watch while I pick my team. Okay. All right.
There's a couple different ways I could go with this.
We've got ranged only and cripple, 38 mana with water, earth, death, and dragoon. And my go-to for ranged only fire is not available. I love my lava launcher.
Okay, fingers crossed. Here we go.
You're in already, okay.
Yep. If I think about it too long, I change it too many times. It's like, just go with your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. These guys always leave me waiting.
All right, I'm in. All right, so any predictions here? Everyone can see my screen, yeah?
Yeah,
Yep.
You're both going wave broods, so they're going to take a lot of the. Oh, gee, I like that gladiator though. I think she's going to. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to you just based on that gladiator, to be honest.
Okay.
Your
yeah,
last
I come up
card
against
isn't
that a
stealing his
lot.
kills. She's going. Last card isn't stealing the kills. Zyvax isn't because he's recharging, so he's only firing every second shot, but for a lot more. Yeah, I think I'm going to give this one to Bob.
All right.
I think that gladiator's going to get out of hand.
Yeah. If she gets some bloodlust with the first strike, she does have 5, so she's going to go first. Oh no, my runic will go first.
But he's the sniper, so
Oh yeah, he's going to be going the back row. You're right. Yeah.
not stealing
So-
kills.
So ranged will go first. Take out the shield. 3. So as long as there's no miss, because Gargoyle Devil is flying.
Yeah, that's the only chance I have.
Yeah. You got your armor repair dangerously close to the front line. Oh, mind you, no one else has armor behind him. Okay.
Yeah, I've learned the importance in ranged only of having armor repair, and then if you're going to use wave brood, to have some sort of triage.
Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, it all comes down to whether you can miss a few times.
That's a good. I've never actually used my Mandarin. That's actually quite good for ranged only there.
Especially something that has a big health reservoir like Wavebird, right? So he's going to get healed for 4 every round.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah. And we've got some headwinds here. I never thought of that either. All right, Gio, any thoughts?
No, I'm not too sure. Just, I don't know. I think, nah, I don't have any. I'm just
All
gonna
right.
watch it for what it is.
Okay, let's see then.
Way to go out on a limb, Gio.
Nah, I'm not choosing
Place your
sides.
Oh,
bets.
there's
Place
a
your bets.
missed
Yeah,
Mr.
there's a
Gargle.
couple of misses there.
Yeah.
It's just going to take so long to get through your Wavebird that the Gladiator's almost definitely going to have time to.
Another 2 misses. Wow, my gladiator's gone.
Incredible. With the
Look at
speed
that.
difference too, you'd think
Yeah, but it's flying.
you'd be hitting a bit more. Yeah,
Gargle
but
Devil's
still,
flying. Well, finally a hit.
yeah, not going to be enough though.
No, she's gone without bloodlust.
And she never dodged, even though she's faster. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And my last one,
Congratulations.
my runic doesn't have close range, so if this guy
Nothing
goes,
happened.
it's all over.
Yeah, it's over.
Yep, it's
It's
over.
all over.
Wow, well
Well
done.
done.
Well played. Yeah, well
Yeah.
played.
It all came down to those misses. If my first card had gone out, I think it would have been a lot different. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. If you're doing archery only, I've really become a fan of having playing water, making sure you get Swamp Spitter in there for the armor repair, boosting the speed, and then if you have the mana, having Wave Brood with a triage can usually buy you enough time.
Yeah. All right, Matt, did you want to send a challenge?
Yep, Jovac, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes.
with a K.
Yep. All right, and we'll do... Got any preferences on card type?
Silver Gladiators.
Yeah, silver level,
yeah.
pretty much anything.
Yep, all right. We could do silver. I'm going to suck at it, but let's do it. And all cards, silver. All right, let's try that.
All right. Is your laptop allowing you to share screen today?
Let's have a look. It probably will. Let me try.
Okay.
You got to let me.
Ah, my bad. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, everyone's favorite, back to basics.
Yeah.
Actually,
See, now
Matt does have a favorite play for Back to Basics. I'm not going to give his secret away.
Now, if everyone is good and has been watching my videos, you will now know the importance of having your Common Rebellion summoners that allow you to play 2 splinters, and you don't care about back to basics.
It's only 20 mana too. There's so little you can do with that.
You don't use your attack type filters either, Matt, I see.
Sometimes I do. Oh, it's common and rares only. There's an epic that I really wanted today.
Yep, me too. And I can't get him. Oh, shoot, I'm like, where is he? I know I have him. Oh, it's commons and rares.
Yeah.
Shock Trooper.
Yep, you can't play blue.
Oh, yeah, that's the point. Yeah, he's great in Back to Basics, Shock Trooper.
All right. I'm all submitted, man. It throws me being in silver, though. Yeah, we'll just have to see how we go.
Put the half
You're making excuses before you've even lost, Matt.
Yeah, of course.
Covering the bases. Yeah.
First, he's all like, I can't swim, and then he's all climbing up on the 10-meter diving board, and I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a bit of a disconnect here.
Well, we've got him thinking this time at least.
Yeah.
Yep. Now I understand why Aftersound is not a fan of back to basics. Okay, this is risky, but we're going to try it.
Yeah, Back to Basics,
That's the
always
spirit.
try and throw in some, the things that you use to counter. So you're going to get magic, you're going to get ranged, because you can really only play one melee card. But then
Okay.
you've got no headwinds, you've got no silence because it's back to basics. It's
Yep.
oh, here we go.
These guys are not attacking from there. These ones are going to hurt me quite a lot while I'm trying to get through these guys, though.
I think I needed to get just a little bit more hit points toward the beginning of the team, but yeah, I was just trying to go heavy range.
I think you've got this, mate, to be honest. I don't have the health here. I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
I've
just
got to
don't
get
have it.
I've got to get through those +2 magic. Yeah, because the one only has 2 health. So if I can get him out of the way, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be
I
interesting.
think this is yours, mate, to be honest. Let's go. You guys all seeing the screen okay?
Yeah. It's going to be close.
But it's close.
Yeah.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah, it was close.
One hit.
But no
Yeah,
cigar.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
Well
right.
done.
Gio, you want to close us out?
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Our hopes are hanging on you for
I don't think I'm going to be up. Nah,
total humiliation.
He's got all the good cards. So, okay. I'll use that as an excuse, huh?
All
All right. So, wait, how do I...
I've got all the old cards I can't play in Modern anymore.
Yeah, so I'm sending to...
JOVAK.
Okay. Well, I forgot how to play this game. Challenge, yep.
Yeah. Silver Gladiators.
Silver Glads. Okay, let's send. So just Jovac.
Yep.
90 seconds, lads. We are hard up against the time.
Okay, so quick team.
Yeah, quick team.
Melee only.
Gonna share, Gio?
I can't. There's not enough time, but we'll watch it. Yeah. My bad, dude. Oh man, really? Okay. This.
What I'll do with this match is I will play it after the show, and I'll record it, and then I'll chuck it on in the editing process.
Yes.
Okay, I'm in.
All right. Okay,
Nice.
so
Yeah.
we'll don't worry about sharing, Gio. Finish putting your team together, but I will record the battle and I'll chuck it on at the end with some music or something like I did previously. Might even bust a rap again. I don't know.
You should do like a stay tuned. Stay tuned next week and find out who won the last battle.
Oh, we should do that every
Patreons.
week. We should do that every week.
Leave a
That's for my
cliffhanger.
Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
All right, so thanks for joining us on 155 Gathering. Thank you for coming on the show. We will be back next week with 156. I'm Boba Fett. Peace out.
Take care.
Everyone say bye-bye.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I've watched your guys' show for quite a bit, and it's like, man, I need to talk to these guys, and then it was just trying to figure